everyone, and welcome to 1923 Main Street, where pavement, powder, and perfect swells combine with travel style every week. I am your host, Mike Belobradic, and today, skateboarding t-shirts, the art and style that impact an epic skateboarding t-shirt. Now, if you like to skate, chances are you like a good skateboarding t-shirt or two in your wardrobe, because skateboarding isn't just a sport, it's more of a lifestyle. And at the heart of that is the culture that has one of the most expressive wardrobe staples, the humble skateboarding t-shirt. Let's look at a brief ride through the history of the skate tee. When did it start? What makes a really great skate tee? And in particular, what we like to think of are timeless skateboarding t-shirts. You know, if we look back in history, skateboarding began to emerge in a meaningful way back in the 50s and 60s when surfers in California invented sidewalk surfing, as it was originally called, and it made sense. You know, you wanted some good dryland training when the waves were flat. Skateboards were invented and became popular. And as the boards evolved, the skate culture spread, and so did a visual identity. By the late 1970s into the early 1980s, thanks in large part to a rise in the number of skate shops and independent brands that are still around today, support your independent and local skate shops and brands. Little plug there. Skateboarding t-shirts start to become a thing. Skaters wanted to wear graphic tees that reflected their skate crews, their sponsors as that became a thing, and local scenes, along with what was a rebellious spirit of skateboarding. You know, we talked about once an outlaw in snowboarding. It wasn't quite as bad with skateboarding, but there was a bit of a rebellious streak in the early days. The early skateboard tees, they weren't just clothing, they were more of a banner of belonging. They were often screen printed by hand in a basement or DIY studio, and it wasn't even that long ago in our local shops that we were doing the same thing with snowboarding t-shirts as well. Long before print-on-demand technology existed like it does today, screen printing in basements was a thing, slow but steady, and you could get a really good reproduction. Today, that DIY energy lives on in our own shirts, hoodies, and more with skateboarding themes and surfing and snowboarding. These are often bold and always original and built for life on and off your board. So what makes a great skate tee stand out? The first thing you're going to notice about a skateboarding t-shirt is the graphic. And it's more than decoration or a bit of fashion flair. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. And one constant has always been that great skate graphics reflect attitude or a sense of pride and belonging. Those are themes that underline a really good tee with a long lifespan. So, some key elements of a great skate tee if you're looking for some artwork. Bold original artwork, always a staple. Skate tees thrive on standout visuals, whether it's a minimal logo or a full bleed illustration, whatever it is, the best designs feel like they belong in the streets as much as they do on the screen on your shirt. Culturally resonant is another important element. Designs that nod to skate history or your local scene or a scene that you like, you know, like a Venice Beach skate shirt, for example, or skate-specific humor, those are instantly relatable and over the eras have always stood the test of time. You know, think of those iconic motifs, cracked concrete or hard luck mascots, art that you see on skate decks nowadays. Those are all DIY aesthetics that are still popular to this very day. And there's a reason why certain themes remain popular through the decades, because they resonate with people who wear them. Typography with personality, that's another key element. Fonts matter. Gritty hand-drawn or scripts, they convey grit, while angular block letters that you see can suggest sort of speed and aggression. Whatever it is, good typography becomes part of the design story. And when we design, we tend to play a lot in this ballpark or skate park, and we put a lot of thought into matching, of course, the font and typography with whatever the theme of the shirt is. And really important is wearable art that ages well. We want you to have a t-shirt that will last for years. And if you look back at some of the vintage shirts from way back, they look good year after year. Distressed graphics are great for that because some of the older shirts are now naturally distressed. Subtle palettes and intentional vintage vibes, that gives a lot of meaning and a nod to the past, even when they're extra faded and frayed over the years. I mean, a frayed shirt has its war wounds, and personally, I love those. Style and comfort, of course, almost goes without saying, but we're going to say it anyway. Comfort is king for skateboarders, and really it should be for anyone. But whether you're cruising on a longboard or on campus or trying new tricks in a pool, in cold weather, warm weather, whatever it is, whatever you're wearing should fit just right, not too tight, not too loose for freedom of movement for your style. Got to be durable. So thick or thin, you can still have durability concerns. So when we choose fabrics, we bear that in mind. So you can go through a fall or two and frequent laundry cycles, hopefully. Got to wash those shirts. And that they will layer easily when cooler weather comes, especially if you're in a cold weather area like we are. You want to be able to layer that shirt nicely. Color is another key element. Colors can pop or they can be subtle shades. Bright, bold colors show energy and attitude. The muted earth tones offer a more understated style, and they pair well with shorts and jeans and hoodies. And monochrome palettes, a favorite of ours. In particular, we love monochrome. They keep the focus on the graphic or message itself. Now, women's skate t-shirts versus men's. There is a difference. There's also a lot of unisex and all-gender shirts. In fact, most of what we make here at 1923 Main Street fit into that. However, we do men's and women's specific shirts, and when we do, here's what we consider. Typically, men's shirts are going to be a looser cut on the shirt itself for maximum mobility. Now, a lot of women like to wear that too, and that's great. We love that. There's larger graphic placement, bolder imagery, maybe a little bit more aggressive sometimes. On the women's specific side, sometimes there's more tailored fits that balance movement in a more feminine style. There are variations like crop tees and relaxed fits for different tastes, and the graphics themselves are often a broader visual range, maybe a little bit more color, a little bit bolder in a playful sort of way, a little bit more artistic. So women's styles aren't just scaled down versions of men's. They're thoughtfully designed to reflect different personalities of women skaters and fit preferences as well, without sacrificing performance and culture. All right, let's close this out with a few fun facts from skate tee culture. As I mentioned earlier, early skate graphics were often printed by the skaters themselves long before big brands even took notice and started creating branded shirts and hoodies and shoes and boards and everything else. And did you know that before skate tees existed, what did skaters wear? They wore band tees as a statement. Concert t-shirts, skate culture, and music culture have always been intertwined, and that really showed itself again even stronger when the streetwear era with hip-hop and skateboarding and punk all sort of mashed together and gave a real boost to streetwear. So before there were branded skateboard t-shirts, music band t-shirts were what they wore. And then global graphics, local skate shops around the world have become incubators for original art and t-shirt designs, and we think that's awesome. Check your local skate shop for a whole bunch of reasons, but here's another one. You can really find them supporting some local designers, and you'll find some cool, unique graphics from independent designers in those independent skate shops and surf shops and snowboard shops for that matter. So be sure to check them out. All right, everyone, there you have it. A little fun look back at the skateboarding t-shirt history and elements that make them great. Thanks as always for listening. Follow along on social media at 1923 Main Street. Visit us in the shop at 1923mainstreet.com. I'll see you again next week. And as always, roam freely and ride boldly.